Being 6 o'clock on Tuesday, we'll call to order the meeting of the Goffstown Sewer Commission. All members present. Dave Pierce, Selectman's Rep, present. Mike Yurgo from DPW present, and Mike Trank from Hoyle Tanner present, and we'll go forward from there. Minutes of September 14th.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 14th.
All in favor? Aye.
For a second.
I'll second that.
I will have to abstain.
He has to, I just have to think about that. I'm thinking in my
Yeah, he
mind.
wasn't here.
Steve has to abstain, so therefore I'll second it.
Okay.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, I mean, I went through the minutes and it looked good. And,
This is wrong.
so,
I'm just.
oh, okay, that's all right. Public comment is in, usually our next order of agenda. There's nobody here at this point. We'll move on. If anybody else comes in, we'll take care of it. New business, we did have an approval from EPA on the CMOM that Commissioner Crane was coordinating with. I thank you for that effort. That looks good. I mean, there are some comments that, Mike Yurgo, have you seen that letter from EPA?
Yeah, I did it quickly last week.
Seemed like basically everything seemed, we just have to address it in our next update. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, it's probably similar to what you've seen before, so that looked good. Any other comment, discussion on CMOM?
I haven't read over the letter yet. I just got it tonight, so, but I'm just thrilled to death that meets all the requirements.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, the letter went on to say there are a few things, but, you know, we might have to, you know, advise in a year's time. We have to do a yearly reporting anyway, so
And Steve really did a good job
coordinating that,
getting it done.
pushing it through. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Ellen has notified us through email, but our intermunicipal agreement meeting with Manchester, or what we do on a yearly basis, has been, the date's been revised from 10/19 to 10/21, I assume.
Still at 3 o'clock.
Still at 3 o'clock, everybody that can, you know, will be
I will not
available.
be there.
You will not be available? Okay. I have no problems on, you know, that's on my agenda to be there.
Me too.
And thank you, Ellen. Dave, I don't know if you want to attend just for informational purposes. It's up to you. You're welcome to.
If I'm available, I probably will.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. Mike, are you going to be able to attend that also?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay.
Is it at their facility?
It's going to be at their, last year, we used to meet in their administration office, and last year we met down at the plant. I don't know what, has Robbie said where it's going to be this
I'll
time?
reconfirm with him.
Okay.
But it's definitely 3 o'clock in the location.
Okay, why don't you, when you find out from Rob, why don't you let everybody know
I
then?
will.
We'll go from there. I appreciate that. Temple Court sewer lines, and Mike Yurgo's brought that before us. Mike, can you give us some update, or what the issue is with this?
Yeah, apparently
Excuse, before you, can
Sure.
you tell me where Temple Court is?
off Elm Street,
Oh.
right behind Martell Lane, laundromat,
Okay,
the side street crosses up.
okay.
One of the people that owns a house on the left-hand side, the last house on the left, had a sewer problem. And apparently his line goes from the house across Temple Court into the other lot, which is his front yard across the street, and goes into Martell Lane. When they had a TV camera through that line, they found a couple other services hooked to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he came in and wondering what we can do about it.
How'd the TV work get going? Is that something the town did, or this guy?
No,
do
he
on-
did it himself.
He did it on himself?
Right, the property owner did it himself, and they found a couple of services connected to it.
A storm drain or storage?
That's storage.
Storage.
So he came in wondering if we can do anything to help him out whatsoever. So I told him, bring it up to the sewer commission. It's just like Cottage Street and Spring Street, the lines that put in the 1900s and hand dug, and one house connected to the other, to the other, to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you have accounts with all the residents in that area?
I think so. Certainly
Yeah,
do
they're all
with
got
this,
sewer.
with this property owner.
yeah, him and the other ones all got sewer.
So there's no resident that you have never billed?
No.
Okay.
So, I told him I'd bring it up to the sewer commission. There's probably probably an option is if we ever wanted to extend the main. Because Temple Court Martell Lane goes to Temple Court, which is, the municipal parking lot right now. And it's actually blocked off on Temple Court, so traffic can't go through, it's a dirt access. That's one of the possibilities, maybe the sewer commission wanted to venture in looking into extending the main.
Oh, is he having
Correct.
trouble with it? Is it backing up
He
or
did,
anything?
he had he had some trouble, he had a lot of root problems with it,
Root problem.
right.
Is he got a fix now, or?
Yeah, they had to put a
That
clean out,
was-
the run was so long, they put a clean out in it, and they TV'd the rest of it and cut the roots for now.
Is it 4-inch or 6-inch?
Actually, there are two bills there, Steve. One,
I don't know, Michael Lawton was there most of the time, but, so I don't know if you know, in the future, you wanna entertain trying to separate them into a main, extending a main that direction.
To do that, is that a private road up through there? Is that
No,
still
it's, no, it's town road, Temple Court, Martell's town road,
Okay, well, I wasn't certain.
there'll be no land taken.
I wasn't certain about how
Right.
the lines went, if we could get them all from the roadway, if we'd have to go across.
Well, I'd have to go and, survey the lot and,
Mhm.
and find out where everybody goes, and where they leave the building,
Yeah. And then
and
see
just
what-
figure out where,
Because it's a service connection, right?
yeah, they're all service connections.
Well, it sounds like what Mike's saying is, you got three or four houses on one service connection coming down to the
Right.
main, so, which is not what is allowed these days.
Or was this just for our information, or they expect
Right.
us to do something with this? Is just for our information?
Yeah. So,
but that just tipped us
Yeah,
off to
okay.
take a look.
But there's a situation and something we should flag for. Were you maybe aware of this before this happened, or?
no.
Yeah.
No, it's so old of a neighborhood that we really don't know a lot about it. What
Well,
the services are.
My point is, then we just flag it for something that has to go into, for facilities for,
Right. It'll be
priority.
if we did
Yeah.
anything, it'd be next year's.
To break it off, because if it's, we don't allow multiple services, and it's old, it's 1900, there was nothing wrong with it when it was first put in, but these days it's, it obviously becomes an issue. And you've had to chase those in the past before in other areas, and it's been really, really time consuming on our part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you want?
No, I would
I
just, that's fine, I was
Okay.
just, I could read it. Sure.
I guess at this point, if the homeowner's made us aware of it, he's not looking for it, I would just ask you put it onto your list of, things that we have to address, and we'll, for next year or the year after, and
Right.
we'll see if it becomes a reoccurring issue, we'll just
Move it up.
move it up the priority list.
All right.
Unless the commission has, any other desires, but it's something good to make a record of and just keep it as we move forward. That sort of completes our new business segment of the agenda that we have before us tonight. On ongoing projects, we have Mass Road sewer construction. We had a meeting with the Board of Selectmen prior to my departure for vacation, and that meeting was relative to the business owners down there and concerns due to lack of access and everything, and some issues that have been raised by a number of incidents. We've talked with Hoyle Tanner on that, and in my absence, I know Commissioner Crane met with the Board of Selectmen to kind of resolve, to let them know where we're going, and Hoyle Tanner has developed an e-blast, I guess, and you've seen a
Right.
survey, so. At this point, you have canvassed
78 businesses.
78 businesses, and how many respondents are you up
We
to
have
at this?
21 on the list.
You're up to 21 at this time.
Pretty good, that's a pretty good response.
Yes, that's,
Could be better,
it
but
Yeah,
could be better, actually, to
that's
be honest
actually
with you.
pretty
I was actually
When-
probably expecting a little higher.
Overall and percentage-wise, that's pretty good response.
I'm working with John Heichel
Yeah, I had
of
read that.
Uptown Auto to try to get more interaction, if you will. So he's offered to help coordinate things, so taking him up on it.
Okay. Ellen, we had talked about possibly coordinating a meeting time and place for the business owners to come in, and we could have an open-air discussion. And I know the Bartlett School was was on our agenda, and there's a series of approvals we have to go through in the school system. Whereabouts are we with that at this point?
They want to have a date from us, rather than saying, could we do it in this week?
Okay,
They would like a firm request
Confirmed
for a
date.
date before they can say, yes, that's good, or not. because they do have all of our information, they
All
just
right.
need that date.
We were kinda hoping with all this stuff they got going open, they could give us a kind of a date to move, that we could work into, but,
Well, our thinking on that is that we could probably meet someplace like North Garden Restaurant with the business owners.
take the lounge over and.
Well,
Yeah.
that way we wouldn't have to worry about scheduling the school and
Yeah,
interfering with them
I
and
mean,
getting the
I'm just-
janitor and, you
Yeah,
know.
no,
I
that's
assume
to-
there's no issue with using a private establishment for a public meeting.
It's informational, there's
It's
no decisions are
informational,
gonna be
right.
made.
No, and that's probably a very good idea. I mean, you know, 'cause, North Garden has a fairly good large lawn. We meet in the afternoon and, or something early
I'm
afternoon.
sure they would appreciate the business too.
Yeah.
This is all relative to phase 3, correct? Or whatever.
Well, the whole
It's
project.
the whole project.
The whole
really.
project,
yeah.
oh yeah, that, and I think
Yeah,
I
it
had
is.
mentioned to Ellen that I thought it was good because it will tie up the loose ends, like, you know, from what we've done this summer, and get people on track as to where we're going with the spring and what's left for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think there was some misinformation out there and maybe some misperceptions about the project. So ideally, what we would do is give everybody an overview of the project, what the current status is, what the projected schedule is, and what sort of impacts could be anticipated.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had an opportunity, and the board members have had an opportunity to look at the e-blast that Will Tanner has prepared, but that was very clear. I thought that was very well done. I mean, to be honest with you, I've given it a quick scan before I was able to get here to this meeting, but I mean, it looked very complete, I should say.
Yeah, and the intent is to do that every week, every Friday. And if there's some unique circumstance, then obviously then we would do a additional one if
Yep.
needed.
Have you captured with the 70-some-odd businesses, is that the amount of businesses that are down in that area that are directly
Yes.
affected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
that extends from Rockland Ave beyond where NATO's sub shop is, all the way up beyond Daniel Plummer Road.
The Shaw's Plaza,
Yeah.
all the tenants in there. Okay.
The sensitive portion, though, is in your phase 3, phase 2, because phase 1 and 3 are essentially done for the winter.
For the most part, yeah, there's still miscellaneous work being done there. There's some cleanup work still remaining. They're still doing some paving work on the sidewalks. All of the mainline sewer trench has been paved. All of the cross trenches have been paved. There's some testing work to do for sewer lines and manholes. Right now, they're installing manhole frames and covers. Once those are complete, which should happen tomorrow, then they'll finish the testing work that's outstanding. So there's miscellaneous odds and ends to clean it up for the winter, but yeah, they've actually done the reclaim of the pavement for the main sewer line trench along phase 2, starting at Larch Street. It doesn't extend all the way up to Daniel Plummer Road yet.
Do we still have some outstanding miscellaneous drainage work on those two projects that have to be done, or has that all been taken care of
They've
also?
done most of it at this point,
Okay,
yeah.
so basically the major earth,
We've
Earth
developed
opening.
what we call a task list.
Mhm.
It's not a punch list by any means, but a task list of, I don't know, there was maybe 25 items on it of work that we felt needed to be complete before they could reasonably move on to phase 2. They've actually addressed most of it at this point.
so
In fact, there was a site walkthrough inspection today, not only of phases 1 and 2, but 1 and 3, but also of phase 2. Megan had asked, to have a site walk, so to accommodate her, we did that.
So suffice to say right now that for the business owners in the area of those two phases, the major earth opening activities which cause the severe traffic detours, that's pretty much all over now.
Yes,
It's
for
gonna be
phases
a
1
matter
and
of,
3. Right.
the superficial, how we deal with the trench paving and, things like that, and,
Yeah, the only remaining impact for phases 1 and 3 will be the final paving next spring when they come back to do that,
And that's gonna go the whole width of the road from sidewalk to sidewalk?
I believe so.
Yes, that was
So
the
it's gonna be
intent.
total overlay when it gets
Yeah.
done?
Right.
Yeah, they'll have to shim any settled trenches before they do that. But yeah, that'll be a final overlay.
At least they get a new road out of it.
Yeah, well, that's the
So
idea,
what-
that was the idea of the whole process, was to get a whole new, you know, that it would be a complete unified surface when it was all done down
Right.
through there.
So what's the schedule for phase 2? Where are we with the schedule on that?
Phase 2 is supposed to begin this week, so they probably will start it this week, next week at the latest, and they're going to be working on that right through until the day before Thanksgiving. They will do the main line sewer replacement first, then depending on crew availability and weather conditions, they may start the building services, the tie-ins.
Okay, now, the reason I ask that is I'm trying to put into some type of a time frame when it would be good to have this meeting with the businesses.
Oh, the sooner the better.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be here next week.
We do something as early as next week?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I think
That
so.
would be good.
I'm gonna meet with John Heichel and also meet with the people at North Garden,
oh, okay,
And-
let's see.
try to figure out something that's convenient.
I would tend to think you probably, with business owners, you might wanna be someplace, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 4:30, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
that's
know
the other
what the
thing we
preference
wanna
is for the
dis-
business.
determine is what a reasonable time
Right.
would be.
You know, I mean, you're getting into the evening traffic too at 5 o'clock, they might wanna be present, they wanna do it early, I have no idea.
Right.
You know, it's not like dealing when we've done it before for sewer extensions, we're dealing with residential, so it's, you know, the evening is better. This is, you know, they might prefer earlier in the afternoon too,
Right.
so,
Exactly.
okay. Which I don't have a problem for, just keep us posted, we can.
Sure.
We certainly want to notify the Board of Selectmen so they, you know, we can do it through Dave too, that, you know, that it's occurring, so if any member of the board wanted to be there also, they could.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll leave it in your capable hands, because you've been working with the business owners, you have a sense of what might be the best for them, and
Yeah.
you're gonna speak to the owners of North Garden who can
Yeah,
coordinate
and
something.
a number of them have called me, which is good.
Good.
So I think it's probably good if I'm getting the calls rather than the board.
Well, no, I just think it's all, yeah, the board, either us or the Board of Selectmen, I'm much
Well,
for
that's
the,
what I
us
meant.
versus the Board of Selectmen, but, I just think it's, you know, good that the communication is going, has started.
Yeah,
with
that's the
these
important
folks.
thing, is to establish a line of communication. I think that's what was really lacking beforehand.
Yes. I thank you very much for, you know, grasping that and running with that and getting that. And like I said, the E-Blast I thought was very well done. Certainly gives them a very concise what's going on and what to expect in the near future, so. Would anybody like to discuss anything else on the Mass
Well,
Road project?
I'm surprised that we had that glitch in the communication issue, because I thought we had made it perfectly clear with everybody that was involved that all calls were supposed to go to your office. And even if they came into the town, to the different departments that are here, whether it be the Board of Selectmen or DPW, anything, we had always, we were quite firm in saying to them that they are to direct all calls to you and not try and handle them.
Well,
So I just, I'm a little,
Well, I think you're kinda missing the issue wasn't who's talking to who and that sort of thing. I think what the issue was that they thought that the road wasn't gonna be closed at all. And then, you know, we get out there and there's, you know, telephone, power lines, gas lines, an old trolley line, water line, new sewer, old sewer. You know, they ran into some things that they didn't anticipate, and a couple times they had to close the road, and sometimes it was just with short notice, like, you know, why don't you tell us a week ago you were gonna close the road? Well, you know, sometimes you get into stuff, you just don't know, and they did, I mean, it's in their best interest to get that thing done as quick as they can, so, you know, if they close the road for 4 hours and it saves 3 days, you know, but I think that's what the what the concern was, not so much who's talking to who, but, you know, how come we weren't notified the road was gonna be closed, and these, you know, last minute decisions, but sometimes that's just the way it goes, you know, you get out there, you don't know what you're gonna run into. I mean, that's probably the worst street in town to work on.
It
you know?
is, and I think for the most part, the tolerance and the ability of keeping the road open was very well handled during the mainline construction. It became the issue when we were doing the building services and
Right.
crossing the road.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one of the worst ones was, of course, happened in front of the Wave, gas station, and that just, you know, because of the complexity and what was in the ground, and this, that became a horrendously long, that even the contractor didn't, or even Holt Tanner didn't anticipate, you know, the timeline on that one, and I think that's what just kind of became an issue.
I think the other issue too is that nobody really anticipated the depth of the impact that there would be on the businesses in the area until we actually got into it.
I'm certain your firm will bring that into your lessons learned from having oversight on this project, but the large number of businesses along the roads, and when a service connection was being made mid-block, and therefore traffic was being detoured, and when the police officer directing traffic, he sees an entire line of traffic approaching him, and the police officer just is waving them to their left continually.
Right.
And yet, every once in a while, there's one of those cars that wanted to go straight ahead. And unfortunately, some drivers didn't take the initiative to wave at the police officer, flash their lights, put their directional on, or anything to say, I really want to go straight ahead. And the police officer would have immediately let that car go, but some drivers were hesitant to do that, and they just followed the line. And then they said, well, I never could get to the business.
I mean, overall for,
You put out additional signage to make the drivers more aware that they should be forceful to go straight ahead if they had to.
We also noted in bold print in the e-blast that customers, the businesses should let their customers know that to tell the flaggers out there that they want to go to such and such a business, and if the road is at all passable, they'll let them through.
It's a very heavily traveled road.
Unfortunately, they may have to take the initiative to actually talk to the flaggers and say, but I want to go here, you know, can I get there, and how do I get there?
I mean, it becomes a difficult chore to expect, you know, to have Holt Tanner and Cardillo and ourselves and the town trying to train the driver, and that's very hard. I mean, to be quite honest with you, having, you know, as Mike has been involved, having been involved in projects in an urban situation, downtown situation, I think between the DPW, Cardillo, and Holt Tanner, you know, talking, you know, the website information that's been, you know, Megan has done a really good job of updating the website with construction schedules, and, you know, getting Bob to get schedules from Cardillo, Bob Marchand, and just, you know, overall, the amount of information has been good. It's just, you know, it's been out in the general, and it hasn't been in the, you know, hasn't been in the macro dealing with the business owner directly. So I think this step will work very well with that, especially as, you know, as Selectman Pierce has said, with the sensitivity of phase 3 coming, phase 2 coming in, 3 coming in, 2, excuse me.
Would it be at all of any interest to maybe get some kind of public awareness articles in the Goffstown News or the Union Leader as to, you know, these are things that we observed, maybe, you know, when you see the flagger there and you want to go straight, tell them. You know, people are still reading the newspapers, and that we did that at the beginning of the project with the traffic control issues, and that was very well received. It might.
I'm going to recommend, is, you know, we have just a month left of the season here. That might be something you want to put in your bag of tricks when you start next spring.
An information article in the paper.
I think we.
Well, I think
Goffstown News
we're
would
going to
be
be
good.
running through some pretty testy issues from what I've read
Just in the next
just now
month?
in the fall.
Mhm.
As far as the Daniel Plummer intersection, that looks pretty scary.
It is.
You know, signs might be needed to direct people to, you know, go this way to get to this business, because it's,
What we decided at we had a traffic meeting on for this next phase, and we talked about that, whether you try to identify all the businesses that are open on a signboard, which means you're constantly changing all the signs, or you basically go with a more generic that says, it's open to local business and, local traffic, and, part of that's been the preemptive of the signs that's been up on 114 now, a little further back, saying it's, open to local businesses, and, you try to just, let them, give the motoring public every known availability. This road is open for business, you can get to your businesses. You can get to where you wanna go. And, until and then, we work it on the short term if we have to shut the road, like at Daniel Plummer, which is one of the, which is the most intricate part of that whole road crossing over there. But, I mean, to go out and, to specifically list each business gets a little bit, I think would be hard to say, but the road is open. You can get to your business. If you wanna get to Shaw's, you want to get to Shop and Save, you wanna get to, the car wash, wherever you wanna go, Dunkin' Donuts, the road will be open. There is a way to get there.
Yeah, two groups of signs have been ordered and are being painted right now. One is a 36-inch by 48-inch sign, orange with black lettering that says open to businesses and residents. And those will be installed on posts right in the immediate vicinity of the construction area, the work area. The other group of signs is signs that say this business open with a directional arrow on it. Now those will be set on easels so that they're portable and they can be moved along with the construction work so that it will allow direction of customers into specific businesses while the work is going on.
So for instance, if they are detouring down St. Anselm's Drive, I guess that is the road that's in front of St. Anselm's, and they're going down there and they wanted to take a left onto Daniel Plummer, and it was closed, you would possibly close Daniel Plummer down because of the intersection issues that you're having down there, then you would have signs that would direct the traffic further down St. Anselm's and then take a left to maybe
College
get
Road.
to College Road or something to get to the businesses, so that's where you would put those signs for that type of,
Right.
We have
That's
detour
good.
signs worked up there also saying you can go down here and do this, so you can get to the businesses. So if you went up St. A's, you would know Daniel Plummer is open, so you can get right down into Shaw's. You can go, College Road is open,
Right.
that has been worked up in a new sign package.
Or
That's-
conversely, if the intersection at Daniel Plummer Road and Mass Road is closed, as it will be when they do that piece, there would be access to, for example, the mobile station on the corner from Daniel Plummer Road instead of from Mass Road.
I mean, as far as, the last meeting we had and what was developed, I thought was very sound. I mean, the precautions are being taken this time around to make sure that the motoring public is notified far enough in advance and at the construction zone that they can still get to this business. And, short of, doing a query of the cars as they come by every time, where you going, I mean, which could happen, but I mean, with the traffic, with the flaggers, I think the awareness is gonna be enhanced, because this is one of the more difficult stretches coming up, and, it has less density of businesses along the frontage, but it is a very tight area, so I think between the collective powers of all of us that were at the meeting, which was included Cardillo, the police, the fire department, and DPW, I think this is the package that Mike has talked about is gonna be very very detailed.
if you close the Daniel Plummer intersection, how long do you, would be a fair assumption as to how long it would be closed?
A few hours at a time,
Okay.
just during the actual working hours that they're out there.
Everything would be reopened in the
So
evening.
that we
Right.
go back to what we were saying is that the mobile station that would be there on the corner would have to be not only through information that we give out to people, but also the owner of the mobile station would have to be responsible to
Right.
tell his people, you gotta go this way. You gotta go around it. So it's going to be a combined effort from everyone's part to help get,
He
Exactly.
enjoys two
Customers,
access points. He has one through Dunkin' Donuts, the mobile station for a fact, and he has one off Daniel Plummer, so
right.
it's, it's a coordination with everybody.
What's that road that goes across that we had talked about, possibly putting the lines from before? that's behind the mobile station, behind,
Behind the mobile station.
well, it's behind the is it Subway that's over there?
Oh, Subway is over in,
There's also a road that.
Subway's
Subway's in Shaw's
There's
Plaza,
also a
so.
road that goes across on Daniel Plummer. If you go up Daniel Plummer from Mass Road, heading up Daniel Plummer, be on the left-hand side.
There's no road that
Doesn't
cuts
go all the way
across.
No
through,
cross
it's dead end.
It
Is
doesn't
it-
go all the way
Oh, yeah, it's a
through.
dead-end
Okay.
road, okay, I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
That's residential, yeah, dead
Yeah,
end.
that's,
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought the road, yeah.
no, we couldn't direct anybody over that.
No,
Yeah, Patane Street is the next
Bring your
street
alter egos.
down,
Mm.
parallel to Daniel Plummer Road. It comes off of Mass Road, and it's parallel to Daniel Plummer.
But it's a dead
Less,
end, right?
less
That's a
options
dead
for
end.
detours.
that's what I was thinking about, is the dead end one.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it might have connected. but-
The other issue that we've talked about is, right now on the town's website, it shows the, quote, alternate detour route, excuse me, as being Route 114 to St. Anselm's Drive. And I know that the business owners would like for that to change so that people aren't being, shall we say, deterred from, at the intersection of, for example, 114 and 114A, and, just avoiding the area altogether. Public Works does have some concerns about changing that alternate detour. I think the primary one being potential confusion, because, this alternate detour area has been in place for so long now that to change it at this point may be confusing. However, I think in the interest of trying to accommodate the businesses, it's probably worth looking at changing that for the next phase of the work.
I'm trying to think how could they get down, go through the intersection and cross over as if they were going.
Well, until they actually get to Daniel Plummer Road,
Right.
that's definitely an option. To
Yeah.
take Daniel Plummer Road to St. Anselm's, and it gets everybody closer into, the work areas and the businesses.
I agree. You could get them down and then detour them up Daniel Plummer, so you get them more in the belly of the beast.
So we'll continue discussing that with DPW and see if we can facilitate that.
Has the flaggers issue been resolved?
Well, that's,
The wage rates?
wage rates.
No. It hasn't.
Mike's inquiry to, from what I understand, to the state has kicked it into a newer, higher gear that they're going to the DOL on trying to resolve.
That's a legal issue that,
Okay. As to
Yeah.
what
You wrote
rate
a
they
nice
pay.
letter, though.
Yes.
You suggested them to forward it to them.
Yes,
That was a very nice letter.
I haven't seen any response from the contractor.
Oh,
on
that one, yeah, okay.
But they need to go forward with that and see what happens. The latest feedback that I got from the person that's handling things locally for the stimulus projects in terms of wage rates was that the direction from DOL in Washington was that the rate should be 75%. They might go along with 75% of what the general laborer wage is, which is still considerably higher than what a flagger rate would be normally. So I'm not ready to accept that yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's,
let's move
Yeah,
on. That's,
okay.
I don't think we should be talking about
all
that.
right, I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, it's something you got, the biggest thing was the 1440, the form that from Cadillo that has
Right.
to be submitted so we can stay in
Yeah, it
compliance.
has to be resubmitted
It
anyway.
has to be resubmitted, and as long
Right.
as you're working on that, we go forward. Other issues, any other thing on Mass Road before we move on? Is everybody? The next item on the agenda we need to discuss is the slope stabilization bids down for the sewer project along the river. I was intending to be present at the bid opening this afternoon. I got tied up and was not being able to, you were there, and within the packet of information you have what Carl has prepared, or Ellen prepared. There was one bid received for that, $248,470 from Earth Northeast Mechanics. Carl initiated a phone call to me, 4 o'clock or so this afternoon to talk about it. He let me know that the one bid had come in and was curious as to what would we be doing. I said, the best thing I can do, Carl, is that we'll bring it before the commission and we'll talk about it. This was the original bid date was extended to allow for a number of questions that were raised by contractors as to how do you phase the project, how do we get the water, it's getting late in the season, you wanted to complete by the end of the season, but it's getting late. We have to get into the Merrimack to put the fabric in, there are some issues they raised. Carl went back to the consultant, GZA. They resolved that. Apparently, they resolved a number of issues, put it out as a phased bid, and to move forward. And one bid was received today. This is in excess of what the emergency management grant funding is. I think our grant funding is at $178,000. I think it was what Carl had. It's in excess. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. My comment to Carl was, I would definitely, and I said, I'm speaking for myself and not for the commission, but before we go ahead, we want to know whether emergency management's going to be able to up the ante based on the bid received. Carl had a call in to Richard Verville at Emergency Management. He hadn't, but he had not received a comment back yet. So I said, well, based on the phase program that the river is at the lowest it has probably been. Well, it's been on the lowest I've ever seen it in the 20 years that I've been here. I think, from my point of view, it would behoove us to award it and get it moving, contingent on the ability that emergency management could come back with additional funding, because in our budget and stuff, we had planned on a 25% split on this payment, 25% on a fund that's less than this. We only have one bid. The bid is from a company that has done this type of work before. Carl's aware of them, I'm aware of them. Carl is checking into, their background a little more and stuff, but I bring it before the board for discussion at this point. I mean, the option is, if we don't want to move forward with this, or if emergency management can't come up with any more money, if we don't want to move forward at this date, we basically have to postpone this until next year sometime, until next fall, essentially, because we have to wait for the river levels to drop again, because the wetlands permit from the Department of Environmental Services says it should be done during low flow periods. Well, that occurs in the fall time. So, that being said, I've given you my information and is now open for discussion.
Okay, the 178 you're talking about, does that represent their 75% share and they don't want to go over that? Or does that represent what they think the total job is worth and they're going to pay 75 of the 178?
I believe, Steve, and those numbers are just, those aren't firm, but off my top of my head, 178 was the engineer's estimate for the project, of which the grant, emergency management would pay 75% of that. And I'm trying to, Carl, when Carl was mobile, he didn't have it in front of him, he couldn't, and I was mobile when we were talking, so it was hard to get all those numbers. I mean, it could be 198, but I mean, it is about, it's over our budget. We were not at $200,000 for the project, and it's now over that, but, this is over that budget.
So our end, instead of being, say, 50, could be 100. Unless, if they don't jack their end up.
If they don't jack their end up, yes. And I know, from other sides that emergency management has some funding, but I don't know what their policy is if they're going to raise it. Carl has that call in there, and as soon as he has a reply back from Richard Verville, he'll pass it on to us, and so. The other option is we can take no action until we know that, and then we could have a special meeting it wouldn't, to wait another month to get that, it becomes November, and by that time we're too late. and to really get, by the time a contractor mobilizes and get in there.
Is it too soon to see where the difference is between that which was submitted as a bid and that which the engineer suggested would be a sufficient amount of money to spend for the project? I mean, the project, if it was $178,000 that the engineer said they felt the cost would be, and then you put it out to bid and it comes in at $248,000, which is a $70,000 difference. That's a substantial difference, and some.
One is.
My question is do we know where the differences are?
Well, one of the issues is, the engineer's opinion, the consultant's opinion of cost was conditioned. They said this is not an approximate cost, we don't include this, we don't include a number of items. So, we could look at disparities between them, but I mean, the consultant, he prefaced it, he put a disclaimer right on his opinion of cost, saying that this is not an accurate estimate.
Yeah, the other issue is that, it's, from a consultant's point of view, is that, you make the best estimate you can based on, historical data and things like that, current pricing in the market, but unfortunately, you don't have any control over, shall we say, market conditions, the bidding climate. So, if contractors are all busy, for example, you're going to get higher prices probably. And conversely, if they don't have enough work, then you're probably going to get some very aggressive bidding. So it's hard to.
Were there things that went out in the bid that were not originally, that were not part of the engineer's cost
I couldn't
estimate?
say. I'm not familiar enough
No,
with the
they're
process.
not.
The scope of work
Yeah.
changed from, that estimate of 178, that could have been an early estimate before
Right.
the wetlands board and this board and that board
And,
put, made their suggestions.
That's what I'm
So the
looking
scope
for.
of, well,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone here can answer that right
You
now.
can't answer that. And what I can further relate to you is Carl did call another contractor who had been interested and had been inquiring to Carl about certain like phasing, the potential of phasing, getting the river work done this year, but, where it would be impossible to get it stabilized before winter to do the whole project, doing it next year and things. He called Carl made a call to the contractor, and the contractor said, I just kind of looked at it, well, why didn't you bid it? And the contractor, his response was, I just felt that, I probably wasn't gonna be able to get the job. It's, his feeling was it was $350,000, if he was to bid it. So I don't, that being said, anybody can say anything on the phone. The scope did change considerably, whether, as Steve has mentioned, the scope has changed, whether the consultant prepared a revised estimate after the scope changed. The number I had, that is in my head, which is the 178, which I don't even guarantee that being accurate, was prior to the scope changing to be, according to DES and wetlands, and changing it to a phased construction program. So, my crucial point to Carl is, it's gonna be really, really incumbent on us being able to get, emergency management to, fund the project at a higher a higher cost.
And that 248, that doesn't include the engineering that we've already paid for, the inspection, the contract administration, so we're gonna be into the 300s before this thing is over with.
Well, the number that Carl was talking about in terms of what emergency management was the construction portion of that
Yeah.
grant, so. Carl needs to have that dialogue with emergency management, and, so we have a better direction as to what emergency management's gonna do and not do, and what it's gonna eventually cost the sewer commission. Obviously is the interest in trying to move forward, but I said to Carl, I said, it's a point of, considerably more money, as Steve has brought up.
We're getting together next Thursday anyway, right? Treatment plant?
Treatment plant, next Thursday, the 19th, or 21st. Yes.
That's right.
I'm not here next week.
No, you're not here next week.
Let's
but-
see what he can come up with
Let's see
between
what-
now and Thursday, and if he
Until next
has
Thursday.
to, what you'd have to do is post the meeting that it's gonna be here, and then would have to stop here on the way back or whatever, because we'll get I don't think we wanna make any decisions over there, but
No.
we can just, we can have a meeting
Okay.
on the way back from our road trip.
Okay.
The other thing you, I'm not sure if you have the information here, but how long is that bid good for? Or, how long is that bid on the table for? 30 days?
I don't have that
Yeah.
information.
We-
You're
we
right,
may-
Dave. Dave, you raise a good point, so.
What's the normal between opening a bid and actually signing the contract? Usually like 60 days, isn't
Usually
it?
60 is what,
It's typically less than that, but, it depends on whether it's a DES-funded project or not. If there's no DES money and they don't have to authorize the award, then it can go a lot quicker.
it's emergency management, and I think.
Well, if it's FEMA, that could be 120 days.
That's right, that's right, and, so I think it's 60 days, but, there is the ability doesn't, I don't think we're locked into a 30-day window or less, but.
Well, if we have to do
Question for
something
Carl.
later this week, I just don't feel like we have enough information
No, we
right now
don't.
to make a decision.
No, I just bring it up to you, and in my discussions with Dave, with Carl, and you raise a good point, Steve. We're gonna meet together the next Thursday. By that time, if,
Not this Thursday,
DP,
the
a week from Thursday, if
Right.
DPW can update us, with everything, that's fine. If they update us even sooner, then maybe we can.
Carl probably put everything he talked with you on the telephone a half hour after your conversation. He sent out an email.
Oh, he did? Okay.
To who?
Addressed to Ellen and all of you.
Okay,
Oh.
because I hadn't
What
seen
time
it
was- oh,
by
yeah,
4 o'clock. Okay.
Burchard, Crean.
Okay, well, we'll have it in our mailboxes tomorrow
And
morning
how
then.
does this, you have an issue with the Rails to Trails that has, right, that has some money that's going for the,
We were to upgrade 200 yards of the surface of the trail at the rear fence of Surratt Park. And it's my understanding that's probably where your contractor would be staging some of his equipment or stockpiling material. And trucks entering at that particular point through Surratt Park to travel, turn left and travel down the rail trail with their loads of rock. And so the concern was, why should we upgrade that 200 yards of trail to its perfect condition just to have
To accommodate the cars?
150 truck convoy travel through it? And we were also modifying the fence line at that point. And the trucks would be essentially trying to turn left through a gate that.
Or maybe you just let them use it ahead of time and then make them restore it when they get done, maybe get something out of it,
Well, Carl's mentioned it to me from that point of view too. Move ahead and upgrade the trail, modify the fence lines, and if the damage is done, then your contractor would repair it. And I think,
Well, I'm saying, you guys don't do anything, we just have them restored, above and beyond. Put it back in decent condition.
well, it's not in decent condition right now. The trail needs fill to bring it up to a proper elevation. And
Well, I would think they'd have to bring Phil in there to move that equipment up and down, that they'd have to make repairs no matter what, even if the trail wasn't there.
as an engineer, I would say yes to that. A lot of trucks to a very sandy area, it's going to become unpassable after a while. It's just beach sand, and I'm not, it's going to push it downhill. It's not a good base of gravel for a lot of trucks to travel over.
So he's gonna have to do something just for his accessibility anyway down through there.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm sure we can work that out.
Work that out there, and,
We have, our trump card is, because the rail trail grant from the state, the money physically dries up 30 June next year, 2011. Now, our trump card is we can go back to the state and ask for a one-year extension because of circumstances beyond our control, like your contract. And, we'd be willing to do that if we had to.
well, if we can get verification that, emergency management will indeed up the project limits for this project and we can move forward, then it seems conceivable that the project could be done in the 2 phases if we award it by next, the second phase is done next spring to allow the Trails Group to be able to, do what they have to do after our contractor has restored it or bettered the condition of it so you can build off of it. That timing would work well without you necessitated going to have to bet for a one-year extension.
It does sound like you do have to promptly make a decision as to whether you're gonna have phase one this winter, this fall, late this fall. If you're running out of time.
We are, but by the same token is, we'll see what we have
This
for
is
money.
an ongoing.
Oh, it is, it's been a long time, it's been a two-year
I would,
project.
if I was in the Rails to Trails program, I would certainly at least put the feeler out there with the state to see if in fact there might be a 6-month extension on the,
They automatically go for 1 year.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
whatever, I mean, and
Yes.
and
The scope of your project must be a lot bigger than just this little thing. I mean, you're just working in that same little area we
Are
are?
you familiar with the fence that's at the rear end of Surratt Park?
No.
No, it's, there's a road that goes through Surratt Park from, the front end.
Yeah.
Loria Drive all the way to rail trail. And there's a vehicle gate on the rail trail. And if you were to turn left or right at that vehicle gate to travel along the rail trail, our project site is 100 yards to the left and 100 yards to the right. That's it. Upgrade that portion of the surface.
Okay.
And your trucks would be doing that 100 yards to the left, which is just beach sand, 15 feet deep.
Boy, it held up the trains all those years.
Yes, this is true too. Yeah,
No, it was excavated. The original rail bed was excavated for a storm drain in that area and just refilled with sand.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
That wouldn't hold the train up. All right, so Ellen, for the time being that it's
Bring the
tabled till we have
helicopter.
some additional information from DPW, and if
Okay.
we have it this week, maybe we can even try to do something, but let's see what happens. We're banking on next Thursday, a week from Thursday. Mike Yurgo, you put out some solicitation for Pershing Street, and your bids are in, or
The bid's opening is Friday.
it is opening this Friday? Okay,
Friday at 1 o'clock.
Friday at 1:00, all right.
here,
Yeah.
Probably the same cast of characters are interested in it. You sent it out too, okay. This is for slip lining and things like that, so. All right, so we'll wait till Friday to see how that goes, and if
was that
necessary.
a published bid or is that just was that in the newspaper?
That was posted in the newspaper.
Yep, and then he got contacted, so we could probably deal with that next Thursday also. Just get it, so he can award it when he gets his bids open. So, that being said, we now move on to old business, again, the 2007 sewer lien. You've been working very diligently on that, that's been progressing well.
We're at a dead standstill. The only response that our commission received was that the certified letter was received and
Okay.
signed for. There's
That's
been nothing forthcoming from the property owner since then. No response as to any kind of a payment or,
Acknowledgement or anything like
Nothing.
that.
no, there's been nothing.
That was,
And that was almost a month ago.
almost a month ago.
Mhm. So I don't know.
We'll give them the 30 days, and on the 15th, we'll see what we can do.
So they missed the first of 3 payments already.
Right, that was the thought, that if that came in for that date, then, but that was missed. There's been no response.
What I feel could be confusing is that it is critical that this amount be paid in full by December 2010. And even, I grant you, they have the responsibility to respond, but it looks as if that when you make the statement, it's critical that it needs to be paid in full by 2010, that they may be thinking themselves, but they should share it, but they may be thinking themselves that they're gonna not pay anything until December 2010, even though we've given them an option of a payment plan. So, I can't think for them, but
I mean, do we wanna be in touch with them again, or just
I
to
think
keep
I'd wait
the-
till December, and if they don't come in in December, then we bring it up in January and go full force, because I think it's a little, it looks like we're giving them till December to pay it, whether with a plan or
Commissioner
not.
raises a good point. I mean, it says, yeah, we've given you a couple of options, monthly and weekly, but then we said it has critical to be paid by December 10th. They made one lump sum payment the last time, so they could just turn around in December and
They could,
make one lump sum. So at that point, until December occurs, till after that point, we don't, you know.
okay,
We've given them that, we've actually given them three options. You have to pay it in full by December, you can pay monthly, or you can weekly. So at that point, this gets tabled until
okay,
December,
January,
until the January meeting, and then we
Yeah.
go forward from there.
all right.
Thank you. Budget presentation, the 10/23.
I think it was a very good, very well-written letter.
You did a good
You
job.
did a nice job with that letter.
Everybody did a good job.
Mm.
So, budget presentation, that's the Saturday, 10/23, that's a week, that's not this week, that's next week, 2 weeks.
Right, that's a week from Saturday. I just wanted to be able to tell someone who might present on Saturday the
Gonna be away.
23rd. Again, you
Who
will be
picked the
away.
23rd?
Where are you
A
going all
long
the time?
time ago, the board,
I know.
Over 4 or 5 months ago.
right, they
yes.
said that it was everybody would present on the one Saturday, instead of having the budget committee come in
And they picked the 23rd?
each Monday night, Saturday the 23rd of October.
I should move my,
So I just,
I should go down the week after.
No, don't worry, I can ante
I
up.
know, but look what I'm missing. I'm missing
Well, I can ante up and do that.
meetings. I'm
I'll
missing.
go.
do you want me to attend with you?
Um,
Yes, do you want me to go?
Yeah, let
too?
me, yeah, and I've gotta confirm my schedule, but
Right,
I'm
well-
almost positive I can handle that.
Okay.
I'll check on my schedule tomorrow morning, get back to you.
And we still had items on the budget from our last meeting that we hadn't,
Right, and we still, right, Steve, there's still not been anything.
Yeah,
but-
I think everything's
when
gonna
we get
walk
to
it
the
down
meeting.
just the way it is, but let's see what happens Thursday. They might, who knows what they're gonna come up with, but.
Right, that was what we were kind of waiting
See,
for.
a lot of our
was
stuff is
IMA
based on
meeting.
Manchester,
right.
and until we know what
And we
they're
made that
doing, what
motion.
status it is, I mean, perfectly honest, the slower Manchester works, the better it is for us.
The admin numbers are also adjusted down from the previous budget because of, I think I attached it to your minutes.
I don't
Well,
see-
it goes with the minutes. I've given you the new budget
I don't,
because the
where is it? I don't have it.
selectmen,
Where's the new
there's
budget?
I think if you keep going, I hope I gave
I
you,
have-
I certainly intended.
I don't have any
I
other
don't have any
budget items
budget at all, in front of me.
in my packet.
Hand it out to you.
I brought, this is my,
Which I
from last
apologize
meeting.
for if I didn't.
Let's-
um,
I tell you what, why don't you have it available, oh.
There you go.
on Thursday, we're.
Yeah, the Thursdays, you're not gonna be able, that's, you know what, we all have a life, life's agenda to deal with too, so.
And this is what I wanted.
The admin 2011 request
Dave, you want one? There you go.
is remaining the same because Dave, was it the budget committee or the selectmen had voted to there would be no cost of living increase, there would be no, this came through from Sue DeRusso and Janice. No cost of living increases for 2011 and no steps.
My memory is we have discussed that, but not made a motion.
Oh,
Our-
okay, because
our
that
motion-
came to the employees.
Our motion was on the cash buyouts for medical insurance.
Oh, okay, because I was told by Janice
We're
that,
leaning in that
Okay.
direction.
okay, so I took the budget figures just back down to the current ones for figures.
What I find concerning about this, once again, is that even though they are small differences in areas that I pointed out at the last meeting, the trial balance total for the budget for last year was $1,729,721. And this sheet is the exact same incorrect figures for 2010 actual as what we had at the last meeting.
Okay.
And are you saying that these actuals were the what you got from Janice and Sue? No?
No, I'm looking at the 2011 request, just under admin, just the
Okay.
2011 request.
Okay. The audit was 5,000, not 9,500. And then the benefits were a different figure, but I didn't want to waste time bringing them up again because
Well,
some of us were.
no,
thought they were
I mean, some of
insignificant.
these 2010 actuals, I mean, 2010 is still ongoing.
No, the actual was not actually the actual. The 2010 was the budget. Those are the opening balances.
Oh, okay.
That was the actual opening balances.
Other people call that, what the approved budget, or the working budget.
Working budget, yeah.
Right.
And in all the other town departments, we have another column that says actual to date,
Right.
Right.
and we tend
Right.
to ignore that because we know all the bills haven't been paid yet.
Right,
The
well,
year's not over.
We seem to have accruing since July an awful lot of legal expense. Do you know what what the total to date on legal expense is?
There's really no, I'll have to look back at that, Kathy, because I'm not sure what, there really hasn't been anything legal, so we'll have to.
I just caught it out on the July 31st trial balance.
Okay.
I caught it, it just caught my eye that we were spending quite a bit of legal expense and
I think
I
I may
wasn't
have
quite aware of
posted for the lien postage, the
I'm
lien,
not,
yeah, everything
don't know.
lien, that goes with the liens goes into that line. Lien postage, lien costs goes into that line, so.
and we left the Manchester charges, remember at 922,000
I-
until they come in.
The working budget numbers you have based on benefits and on auditor, on auditor different. 13,190, 5,088 up in here. So I guess,
And this one.
why shouldn't this be changed to reflect that then? Or what is the discrepancy? The audit was actually $5,000.
No. These are our opening, this is our opening,
Okay.
our opening budget figures.
Yes,
This is what our budget was last year.
that's what I
This
thought.
unemployment was 88, this benefit line should be 13,191. And our audit, which we budgeted for last year, we audited $5,000 for our audit expense last year. And that came, and this, it totaled 398,356. And this agrees with the financial statements that come out of the finance department.
Well, that's what we should have here.
Right, that's right, and those are those are the three corrections that needed to be made, but,
Okay, well, that's what we should do then.
and then the total on the bottom here is not 1,733,132, the total should be 1,729,721.
Okay.
729,721.
Right.
All right, well, then, Ellen, if you don't mind,
But we'll work together, Kathy, before?
Sure.
Okay.
Just
I'll just make sure
get that
But
revised.
that comes right off of the trial
No,
balance.
it comes right off the trial
The
balance.
opening, the opening budgeted figures for the lines, and then when we get our reports, it shows what how much we have left.
Right. And if you look at interest expense,
Yeah,
74100, that figure has gone down to 29,186 because the bond bank was able to reduce our
Reduce it.
interest rate by 3190 over the next 5 years or so. So that went down, the Knoll Crest. That's reduced as well.
so what we have so far is almost, $30,000 less.
Yeah, we're about 30,000, well, yeah, if you figure, 730,000 versus 690, it's almost
40,000.
More like
40,000. Almost $40,000 less than the 2010 request.
And nobody has a clue at all what's going on with Manchester?
Well, we won't know
Not
until
till
Thursday,
Thursday.
and,
I hope we'll know then.
yeah, I
Do you
mean,
think we'll know then, Steve?
Well, short term, we'll know for next year.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yes.
maybe.
so, that's when they release their surprises to us, a long time. So, and in mass, they bring Londonderry, Bedford, and Goffstown there, and we talk about it.
The good news is that now that the sewer project won't be finished on Mass Road until next year, we still have another
Now
year
it'll
after
be-
the end.
That's correct. Bump it out another.
They
All
won't
right.
make it go for 3 years.
But Ellen will readjust that, the tabulation. I don't plan on attending on the 10/23 unless I have a conflict, at which point I don't think I do.
I'll
and-
find out also when we're slated,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you could.
what
let-
time.
what time.
Yeah, If
Okay.
we're slated it later on in the afternoon, I'm getting in the early afternoon, so.
My guess would probably be slated in the morning, just
Early
because
morning.
it's.
You know what,
it's-
you're traveling, I
very
wouldn't worry
quick.
about it.
Okay.
Decompress,
Yeah.
You-
we'll deal with it.
You've done it before?
I appreciate it, but, I know it's like you're traveling, getting off planes and everything,
You
just
feel badly,
Just
yeah.
don't, you do your fair share, don't worry. South Village Area Survey Update.
Yes, I just want to let you know that they went out to about 110 or 20 properties.
Okay.
35 or 40 have responded. The deadline was today, but and everybody's septic
You've
is
got a
excellent or
40%
good.
return by so fast, wow.
So,
Who's South Village?
What area of town are we talking about?
I renamed it the South Village instead of
Hermsdorf.
Hermsdorf because it's got Pleasant Street, Westwood, Hermsdorf, out to Mike Walton's house. It's just so much more than the Hermsdorf.
We had said, let's get a sanitary survey out. and
Right.
just see what
So
it,
it
see
went
what
out.
else
Yeah, I
comes
just
in.
wasn't familiar, never heard it called that.
Well, neither did I till right now.
That was
I'm
me.
just kinda like looking at it,
That
like
was
what?
me.
God, after 20, how many, 30 years?
I
of
know.
it being the Hermsdorf
Yeah.
project, now
Project,
it's
it's
the
like
South.
South
I like the
Village.
South Village, though.
Well, it's a much more accurate
Representation.
representation of.
So your
Right.
response back was that most of the people have good systems?
Yes, everyone, and I will email, I did a little matrix, and as soon as I get more in, but people have been quite good about sending them back, so.
All right, well, appreciate that. We'll just, walk into the files right now. Apparently, it sounds like
So you have how much, what was the percentage you said you've gotten back?
45 in out of 120, I think she said.
Should we do a second request? No?
No, I'm gonna wait, because they
We
went
usually
out,
do
they
one.
had about 12 days, 12 to 14 days.
How many said they wanted it?
No one.
No one?
Well, maybe one that I've heard. One said, I do not want it.
Right.
There was another woman that called and said, I can't give you any information till I know when you're gonna plan to do this, et cetera, and I.
20 years out.
Right,
Well, before I went on vacation, nobody said they
so,
wanted it at all. so
no,
it's
and
a-
everybody's septic is in excellent condition, and even though somebody put down that it was 72 years old.
72 years
Is
old.
that possible out there?
On Route 13 it is.
Yeah.
Wow, because that's what it looked like to
Rickers.
me.
What is their name? Rickers? The Rickers?
But anyway, so.
Yeah, one less thing
that's
to
the
worry
update.
about.
All right, last item of business that I'm aware of right now is Burger King is now vacant, and
And you do have a copy of the memo that I wrote after I talked to Michelle, but Kathy has expressed a desire, and I will follow through to do a certified letter and make sure that that's
that they would like
that's
it
in
reduced.
writing from them,
Just a
that they,
confirming letter to them, confirming the
that
telephone
they
conversation.
acquiesce to that.
That you,
Water's also been turned off. Right?
yeah,
Okay.
that they, confirm that you're aware that you're gonna lose the ability to.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Well, if they go down to 1,
Yeah.
and then for some reason say they wanna go back up to 15, that's like, $75,000, is that right?
That's
Yeah.
why we want it,
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So you need to put it in a letter to them so they're aware of it.
Because I have no idea, they're trying to get another tenant back in there, but I have no idea who they're looking for.
So you're gonna put that in a letter, you talk to them, you will alert them to the fact that, whatever goes in, the increased, treatment unit will be at 5,000, whether it's 12, 10, 5, or whatever. Okay, well, they're just gonna make the new tenant pay for it, but anyway. Anything else?
Go ahead.
2 sessions ago, I'm changing my hats now, Friends of the Goffstown Rail Trail. 2 sessions ago, I briefed you that we were undertaking a private contract to upgrade 1,000 feet of rail trail.
Yes.
It was over your sewer line, and that work was accomplished yesterday,
Oh, good.
all in one day.
Rather than that.
The contractor was John Neville.
Yeah.
And his crew was there from 7 in the morning till 6 at night, and finished it.
Yeah, I saw them all day.
No, last time I saw Dave cutting a limb off a tree down there, so.
And they took good care of your manhole covers through that
Okay.
stretch.
Good, so that's up and open now, that's good. That's another significant improvement on that
Thank you.
line.
And thank you for
Excellent.
allowing us to do that without any headaches.
That will be good once you get it all straightened, the whole thing, but even each segment as you bring online, as far as I'm concerned, is good. Ellen, you had some,
All minutes of the sewer commission are public, right? So
Yes.
okay, there's one property that I know of on Moose Club Park Road that is not connected to sewer and never paid the connection fee, and everybody's just finding this out now. So the fellow just wanted to see the minutes of that meeting where that homeowner refused and was allowed not to connect and not to pay a connection fee. McLaughlin was the name, and I just wanted to be sure that was
the
all
minutes are
right.
all open, yes, I
You
mean,
can go right on the town website and get the minutes.
yeah.
Right, but
well,
not
They go-
from 92,
I don't know, I go
don't
back
think-
pretty far.
really.
But
Okay.
minutes,
That's fine.
minutes of any of
Okay.
our, any
That's fine.
meeting, any commission, any agency in the town is public information.
That's fine.
Unless we so go into executive
Yeah.
session,
Right,
and
but
that's
then,
sealed, but
yeah.
otherwise than that, that's public information.
Okay,
Wasn't there an issue that Walt was so far from the sewer line or something
Well, that's
that
what
you more or less got like a waiver?
it was something like
He was
that.
more than 100 feet, or,
It was something like that. But,
He had sufficient lot area that he, and way back there, there was something to that effect.
and now it's an estate, it's an estate, and someone wants to buy it and was under the impression they were connected to sewer, and found out within a week of the closing that, no, they were
It's not.
not.
This is
connected
probably
to
the
sewer.
one that was back in the interceptor days. It wasn't connected to the Moose Club project itself.
Okay,
So you're going back to a contract 1A of the
well, if it's
interceptor.
92, yeah, you're talking interceptor.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
So where's like on the top of the hill?
Yes, yeah, it's about 5
I believe so,
properties in,
yeah.
right
Yeah,
there.
it's before you make the shop
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Somewhere around Paquette's house.
Yeah, well, the old minutes must be here. I mean, that's,
yeah,
It
That's-
was
that's
right in that
behind my
property's
time, yeah,
file, that
yeah.
copy of the minutes.
okay,
so.
that's fine, no, that's all public information.
Yeah, I think there's still a couple down there on the top of the hill that's still not connected to it. I know there's some on Mass Road still not connected to it.
so do you have the minutes here?
I do,
You can adjourn the meeting if you want. I just want to be nosy and take a look.
okay.
All right,
7:15.
being that,
I'm sorry,
do I have a motion to adjourn at 7:15?
I just
I
have
make a
one thing.
motion to
Well, wait a
adjourn.
minute, what?
Facilities plan. Can I send that to DES on condition that if you folks have any comments, we'll go ahead and revise it?
Yeah, send it to DES.
Okay.
Get it up there. I'll do my diligence and get it. My comments are minor.
I didn't think there would be any substantive
Well,
changes.
If you don't mind, yeah,
so-
get it up, get that up there and get it before then. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn it, now it is 7:16.
7:16. I'll second that. All in favor? Thank you all. Appreciate it. How's